In this video, I want to talk about audio drama budgeting. Yes, if you are considering creating an audio drama for your podcast or for your radio station or just for a personal project, this will help you to figure out how to budget for your audio drama. I am going to be teaching you the different components to consider when budgeting for your audio drama. You're also going to be learning how to produce your audio drama on a low budget or the various opportunities that are available for you to create your audio story with the right budget. But first, let me introduce myself. My name is Adebisi Adetunji, a media and communications professional with over 20 years in the media and development and the humanitarian sector. I run the Tech Ed audio drama course and storytelling bootcamps under the Everything Audio Theatre Academy, an offshoot of the Debisibusybee media. So far, we have graduated 40 students within 18 months. I also have a master's degree in social work. I am a personal and career development coach, very passionate about building people and helping people live their best lives and smashing their personal and career goals. I have mentored over 300 media professionals across organizations in Nigeria. I'm also an author and I have published 7 books so far and still counting. So, storytelling is my turf, storytelling is my passion, and I have been able to produce over 400 audio drama in episodes. Yes, that is my comfort zone. So I have had opportunity to work on different audio drama projects ranging in a number of durations, 5 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour, and so on. And I have had the privilege of putting together budgets for various audio drama productions. So we're going to be digging in as I show you just how to achieve your own audio drama budget, whether for a podcast or a radio content or just for your personal use, either on low budget or getting someone to pay for it. So let's dig into it. Now, a good place to start is to define what a budget for audio drama means. Yes, it is simply the cost of executing an audio drama storytelling production from start to finish, everything from the beginning to the end. Now, estimating your budget is relatively dependent on your specific project needs. So it depends on what kind of, audio drama or story you're telling. It depends on perhaps sometimes if you find that someone commissioned you, right? They want a particular audio drama or radio drama, as it were, produced in a particular in a specific location. So you can have a studio location recording. You can have an outside location recording. You can have a recording that will take place in a different city or in a different setting, depending on the target audience. And of course, your estimation will also be dependent on the duration of your audio drama, whether it's a lengthy audio drama production or a short audio drama production. And you know that the duration will determine how large your crew will be, your cast and crew will be. If it's a short audio drama, it will be a few production crew and cast. If it's an audio drama that is lengthy, then of course you're going to have more cast and crew and so much more in terms of logistics to put in place. So your estimate is dependent on the specific needs of that your audio drama production. So the factors to consider for your audio drama budgeting includes your pre-production activities, depending on what is contained in what you need to put together before the script writing and the major production. I'll be explaining that in a bit. You also want to look at your production quality. So if it's a low budget, audio drama production where maybe you are doing the production in your house or at a convenient location with your tools, your recorder, your microphone, your laptop. So again, that is for your personal use. But if it's for maybe an organization, a very big project, the quality of that production, which will require more sophisticated equipment in terms of your sound design, a proper studio, a proper location, and more. And then also the size of your crew. I mentioned earlier the number of your cast, the number of the people that includes the cast, the directors, the sound engineer, the welfare team, the logistics, and all of that. You may think that all of this only comes in place in movies. You also need all of this in an audio drama. Also, another factor that will determine what budget you are putting together for your audio drama is the duration. Yes, if it's a short length audio drama, it will require fewer number of people to make that production. But if it's longer in duration, then your cast and crew will be larger and a lot of other things will be need to put in place. All right. And of course, the number of episodes. So if it's just one episode you are producing, or you are producing maybe a quarter episode, that is a 13 weeks episode, or a 1 year, 6 month episode. All right. Your budget, of course, will need to, include all of the episodes, the length, and the duration. Now, every audio drama production is divided into 3 phases or stages, if you prefer. That is the pre-production activities, the production, and the post-production. So the pre-production speaks to the period where you conceptualize your story, you develop your story, whether you are doing that alone or you are bringing a number of people. Usually it is advised to bring a number of people together. Where you have a budget for it, you actually get all the people that are supposed to be part of that story. Maybe people from that are your target audience, members of their team. If it's a development message theme or social behavioral change message theme production, usually you want to get into the room people from that locality, the target audience, to be part of the story development process so that you can actually address and create a powerful stories that speaks to your target audience. And of course, that will mean a story development workshop, the script writing, and all of that. Just getting your story ready in its raw format before production. And then, of course, the next stage is your production. All that happens in between that, talking about auditioning of cast, getting your studio, getting the crew member together, actual recordings, and everything that you need to do to bring your story alive and actually have a production, a package. And then the post-production speaks to everything that happens after you have recorded. That is the editing, infusing your effects, just fine-tuning and bringing out a quality sound production that your audience will enjoy. So I am going to be talking about what you should be budgeting for in each of these stages or phases. Now, some of the line items you need to budget for during your pre-production stage. The pre-production stage of your audio drama is the story development workshop or meeting. Like I said before, it could be a small group. If it's a personal production, maybe you get together your colleagues in your station, the writers, anyone that could help with the story development and script writing, or a large group. And this usually, if it's a large group or depending on the size of the people that working on developing the story, you want to consider the cost of your venue, the location, whether you are traveling to a different location from where you are or a different city, the number of people that are participating in the story development workshop, transportation for people to get there, hotel booking if necessary, then maybe a per diem for a standard workshop. So people that want to come, if you are getting people together for your story development, you want to consider whether you are paying them transportation for to and fro. You also want to pay them for their time in brainstorming together to create a powerful story that meets the purpose, the objective, and the needs of your target audience. Now, the next thing in your line budget or at the pre-production stage is the treatment development workshop. So you may wonder, what's the difference between the story development? So the story development workshop is where you bounce around ideas, different themes, you bounce around story ideas, and you zero in on a particular story, developing its plot, right? Opening it up and expanding on it. Now, the treatment sheets, if you can afford it in budget planning, especially for big projects, the treatment development workshop is the breakdown of the scenes of each episode. So if you have 13 episodes of your story, you may say, okay, in each episode you have like 3 scenes or 4 scenes, depending on your duration, the duration and the length of your audio drama. So the treatment development workshop and writing as well. So some people combine the treatment sheet development workshop, and the script writing, where you get these writers together. So again, in this workshop, you want to consider every other thing you considered for story development workshop. You consider the venue, location, number of people that are going to be participating in that brainstorming and treatment sheet development workshop, all right? And script writing as well. So to conserve budget, people tend to combine the treatment sheets and the writing, of the story itself together. So if you are bringing people together for 1 week in a writer's workshop, they call it writer's workshop. You can, of course, develop your treatment sheet scene by scene for each episode, and then you get the writers to write. So you budget for all of the location, whether it's a venue, whether people will be coming and going, depending on if they are based in that location, or if your own team, if you are serving as a consultant that I have to move from a location to the other, you budget for the consultancy, of course, as well, and you budget for your lodging, maybe in an hotel, to enable you run that treatment workshop. So again, you can combine your treatment workshop with the story development, or you can combine your treatment workshop with actual writing, or you can, combine all of this, combine the treatment workshop and the story development workshop, and then share all the detailed document with writers in different locations who can actually work with the document you have put together, and they will still write a good story. So you want to consider this in your budget line. So one very important thing you must consider in your line at the pre-production stage is the script writers. All right. So you're going to budget for how much you will pay the writer per episode. All right. So if a writer is taking 2 episodes, 3 episodes, you want to consider how much you are paying a script writer per episode. And of course, your budgeting can vary. If it's a 5-minute script, the amount you budget for that will be less than a 15 minutes, a 30 minutes, or a 1 hour. So there has to be a specific amount that you'll be paying your script writer per episode. All right. The second phase in your budget line items speaks to the production, right? Yeah, this is where all of the real action, take place. This is where you talk about the auditioning of your cast. That is, you create a time and a day where you audition your cast to know who fits into what role. So you want to budget for maybe the venue, or if you choose to ask cast to send in their voice audio auditions, maybe you ask them to record themselves acting a particular role and sending in their recordings. That may be another way to cut your costs or manage your budget effectively. But if you're having in-person physical auditioning of cast, you want to budget for the location, you want to budget for the number of people that are doing the auditioning, maybe you and 1 or 2 crew member or directors and all of that. And then perhaps you may want to consider the transportation of the cast if somebody has commissioned you and there's a big budget for that kind of production. Okay, so you also want to consider at the production phase theme music. All right, so you can get a music artist to record a soundtrack that you will use for your particular audio drama. I always advise that it is better, if you can, to get your own theme music recorded, commissioning a music artist, and then, or maybe a studio, let them just do an instrumental for you, or maybe even local drummers. Sometimes I have done some productions where I get local musicians to give me a local flair. That is even a lot cheaper for you to manage, and it will speak to the context, of your audio drama target. And then, of course, the studio booking. After you have auditioned your cast, you have done your music theme, you have done your theme music, which of course can be going on concurrently. You want to book a studio. So if you're going to be using a studio to do your recording, or you can also have what we call location recording. You book specific location, outdoor recording. It's feasible. This is done in audio drama production as well. So maybe you want to budget for the use of a specific public space, or if it's a location that you have a control of, that is for somebody that you know, that might bring down your budget. And then, of course, your cast fees. You consider your cast fees per episode or per scene, depending on the duration and the terms of engagement. If you have big budget, you can do per scene. If you have low budget, you may decide to do per episode rather than per scene. Also, on your production budget line, you have the crew fees. Who are these people? You talk about the director, the sound engineer, the support team, the effects managers, and all of the other people that are working with you, perhaps even the welfare and logistics team. If it's a very huge size production, whatever, whether it's a short length or long length audio drama production, it's important to have welfare, the logistics, and all of the people that should be part of your team in place. So logistics can include your accountant. If it's a very large production with big budget, you can have an accountant, an admin, the people managing all of the movements and the feeding and the welfare. All of these people, you must include their fees in the line budget, in your budget. Very, very important. This can be done in en bloc. You don't have to like the cast where you say percent. This one is like en bloc amount, specific amount that you have agreed to say, okay, I'll be paying you for this production. This is the amount you'll be getting as a director or sound manager for this production. Whether the production is running for 1 week, a month, the person knows how much they are getting as full payment for the production. And then, of course, you want to consider transportation. Again, I want to say this is dependent largely on if the budget is large. So you may want to say, okay, the cast for transporting themselves, if it's a week production recording, right? You may say, okay, you are entitled to a specific amount for transportation. I remember one production that we did where we had a 13 episode audio drama production for a development organization, right? Where each cast had a specific amount for transportation support and feeding, apart from their cast fees. So if you have a big enough budget, why not? Now, the third phase, which is the last phase, is the post-production budget line items. Now, this is where you edit and package. This is where you do the sound design, the mixing of your music. So you want to consider editing per episode. So if it's the same sound engineer that is editing, so you've already decided how much you're going to be paying en bloc to that sound engineer that is doing all of the work. But if sometimes it's a very lengthy, long in duration, long in episode, in terms of episode, when you have several episodes that runs into months, maybe 13 episode, 6 months, 1 year, sometimes people work with different people who can edit. So you can commission individuals who can edit, who are experienced in editing audio stories and audio drama, and then you decide that, okay, per person, per episode, this is how much this person is going to be getting. Okay, and the person will be in charge of editing, mixing all of the effects, and the theme music and all of that. So you want to also plan for your effects. So your sound effects, which is usually an important tool in telling your audio drama stories, you want to talk about how you are collecting your sound effects. Are you going to go to locations to get specific sounds that speaks to a specific scene? So maybe a market scene, an airport scene. You want to get sounds, ambience that speaks to that. So you might want to budget for all of that movement, or you want to download royalty-free, copyright-free effects online, that will also work for you. So you want to be careful with copyright content in your audio drama so that it's not going to cost you more if somebody takes you up. In another video, I'll be talking about just how you can get your music, your theme, your audio drama theme music, and avoiding copyright problem, the options. You'll be getting that in another video. Now we are getting right to the meat, the crux of the matter. Just how do you source for funding for your audio drama production? I mean, you have a plan to start a podcast, you want to start your own audio drama, or you want to get an opportunity for an organization to commission you. How do you get funding for that? Those beautiful stories you have in mind, you've been meaning to put together, and you've not been able to get the funds. One quick way you can, manage your budget and funding issues with your audio drama production is to leverage available tools, personal tools such as your laptop, microphone, and a quiet location in your house. So again, audio drama production does not necessarily have to happen in a studio, right? In the traditional studio space. You can record in a different location. You can find a corner in your room, get mattresses to block out the noise, to pad a little bit, get mattresses to pad the walls and all of that, and get a corner so that the sound can be controlled, and you can do your recording with, a few friends or whoever you select, okay, with your microphone, your laptop, or even your phone if you have a very good phone. These days, lots of these gadgets can work, okay? Get CapCut to edit, all right? Fix your content in CapCut and edit it, and mix your effects, look for royalty-free music, and mix everything down, and voila, you have your audio drama for your podcast. Then you can decide to book or pay for hours of recording in a studio. So you may say, okay, I want to produce 5 minutes, 10 5-minute or 13 5-minute audio drama. So you maximize your time by saying, okay, we're going to do this production in 2 days rather than in 1 week or 2 weeks. You compress your studio time. So you book for 2 days instead of like 1 week or 1 month that will cost you more. And you prepare your cast and crew ahead to do the work, like a whole day's work, to record as many episodes as possible. This will help you cut down on your budget. Another way you can get funding for your audio drama production is to collaborate with a radio station or a studio, as it were, okay? So in exchange for airing such audio drama as a free program content and contribution to their station, the way to do this, the way to persuade them is to, perhaps if you have someone on the inside, you approach the person to speak to them first before you send a proposal, and then listing out, marking the benefits to the station and possible opportunities of even getting adverts and commercial on such audio drama content if well packaged, okay? So you can collaborate with a radio station to say, okay, let me produce a radio drama for you using your studio, bringing my cast and crew, and you can broadcast as a free content with your station. So you can have a collaboration between you and the station, acknowledging them as a partner in that production. So you get your studio booking, recording, you get all of the gadgets that you need, and then you get a platform and a medium to air and get audience to listen to your production. Another medium of getting funding for your audio drama production is to approach companies or organizations interested or working in the area of the theme of your audio story. So for example, maybe you want to talk about a story that has to do with say hygiene, all right, or food nutrition. Food nutrition. So you might want to approach an organization or company that produces items or products that speaks to good nutrition, maybe beverage company, food company, and all of that. So you might want to write a proposal to an organization that is interested in the thematic area of your drama. Okay, so depending on the kind of story you want to work on, you can approach a local government chairman, you can approach an NGO, you can approach just about, you can even approach an individual that is interested in audio drama production. And then of course, always showing them the benefits to their organization. So it can be, it can be a means of creating visibility for their more visibility for their brand, retaining existing customers and bringing in more customers. So you want to always show them the benefits to their organization or company, product or service. So you can approach individuals, organization that are willing or would be willing to fund your story. And then lastly, you can get commissioned by an organization, a business, an NGO, or whoever to create and produce an audio drama. So let's say an XYZ organization approaches you to say, okay, we want to produce this particular audio focused on this particular theme. Then of course you run on with consultancy, you negotiate on the budget, you come up, which is why this video is very important for you to know how to come up with a budget, to know the line items, so that you can effectively negotiate to get your cast and crew and yourself paid appropriately, and to get funds for every component of the audio drama production. Okay, so an organization or individual can approach you and commission you to do a production. Let's now deep dive into what it will cost to produce different durations of an audio drama. So for your 5 minute audio drama, you want to be budgeting from between 200,000 to 400,000. Let's quickly take a look at a budget-friendly 5 minute audio drama production. What are the things that you should consider in your line budget? Now, this is speaking to something that is minimally budget friendly, easy to work with. Okay, just to give you a picture of what it means to draw up a budget. Number one on the list here speaks to the story development and script writing. Yes, so depending on what you want, you may choose a venue. Participants can be 2 or 3 people, maybe your friends or people in the team, depending on what that project is all about and who is funding it. So if it's personal one, just look for a few people in your circle and somewhere friendly. However, if it's something that you want to put money on, you may be considering a low budget as low as 60K. So if you get a venue for 20, 25K, simple place, and then you plan for your snack or feeding, right, through the duration of bouncing around story ideas. And then you want to look at your script writing, your writer's fee, which can fall in the range of 10,000 to 20,000 per episode, depending on whether it is personal or it's a commission project. Next on the line is, your cast. So you may want to consider not more than 4 cast members for a 5 minute audio drama. You can't do more than 2 scenes, all right, and maybe 3 maximally. 3 is a lot in my opinion. So you may want to pay your cast 5,000 or 10,000 per episode appearance, okay? And then next on the line is your studio booking, recording. This is where you record. So from my findings, studios in radio stations can go from between 20,000 to 40,000 or more per hour, right? In the studio per hour. And then of course, if you are booking for a full day, you may be looking at 100 to 150K. And then for real commercialized studio that is not in a radio station setting, you may be looking at 50,000 to 100 or more, right, for 1 hour. And then of course the full day will be a lot more than that. So I would suggest for your very budget friendly production, look for a radio station studio, a good radio station studio that will still work for you. And then for post-production on your line budget, this is where you edit and package. Same thing, you want to consider a studio, the 1 hour course, and then the full day, depending on what you are doing, right? You may just book a few hours so that you can achieve your 5 minutes production. So you have an estimated budget total, minimally from 200,000 naira plus per 5 minutes episode, right? Per 5 minutes drama episode. But of course, you can do this in block. If you have several episodes of your audio drama, you can manage your time. You can have in block time bookings, unlike just booking for 1 hour for your 5 minutes recording. All right. So this is a minimal friendly budget. So for a 15 minutes audio drama production, you want to consider 500,000 plus to a 1 million naira for your production. Again, all of these are just supposed to be like standard budget cost cost planning, okay? You can still achieve a 15 minutes for less, depending on how you manage your production. Now, the same thing goes for your 15 minutes budget-friendly audio drama production, story development, as it were. 4 to 5 people. You want to consider 4 to 5 people for your story development, segments, and then use a venue that is affordable or somewhere that you don't have to pay anything for. Script writing, of course, also consider your writer's fee. This is 15,000 to 25,000 naira per episode per script. Per episode script, all right? For your cast, you want to consider 5 to 8 cast member, right? This time you can pay same 5 to 10,000 naira minimally per episode appearance or more if you choose. So if you have a 5 to 8 cast member, you are looking at, on the upside, 40,000 to 80,000 naira per episode for cast fees. And for your studio booking, again, you maintain the same amount, 20 to 30k per hour in a radio station, or for a commercial studio, proper commercial studio, you are looking at 50 to 100,000 per hour or more, a lot more depending on the studio you're using. So for your welfare, logistics, this is feeding, refreshment, this is refreshment, and a few other miscellaneous things, all right, to keep it at a minimal level and cost. Post-production, again, you consider the same amount, full day, or you pay for the hourly time frame. And then the estimated budget for 15 minutes is about 400,000 naira plus per episode, all right? So there is a lot you can do with, if you have 15 minutes that is running for 13 episodes or more, several months or several episodes. You can, of course, have a one pool funding. So the studio time will cover for this. You manage your studio time, you manage your resources, all right? So don't let this scare you. You can still have a very, very, very low budget friendly audio drama production. But for consultancy, this is huge opportunity for you to make that extra income that you've been meaning to make. And for a 30 minutes production, you are considering a 1 million plus to 2 million plus, right? For an episode, because again, it will require a larger number of crew and cast, and of course more time to edit and all of that, indices, more locations, and all of that will come into play. But again, you can still achieve this for far less than that, depending on how you manage the line items and get some of the items for free. For example, if you do not have to do your music design like a theme music, you get a royalty-free music. That has reduced your cost. If you are editing on your CapCut personally, that has reduced your cost. Okay? If you are recording in your house or in a location that you're managing it, that has reduced your cost. So it all depends on you and the specifics of the particular audio drama project production. I run the audio drama bundle online course at the Everything Audio Theatre Academy under the Debisibusybee Media. Yes, the story development course modules, the script writing course modules, and the production. This is where you learn in detail, very practical, not just theory, how you can work from your story development, script development to your production with ease. The course is fully virtual, easy to follow, hands-on with faculty support. It is a learn and do. Yes, as you learn in each module, you are given an assignment to develop your stories, to submit them. Faculty will review, handhold you, support you, and we even organize webinars, hand-holding sessions, value-adding sessions, for our students, okay? So if you want to learn about how to create suspense-filled, powerful, exciting audio drama productions from story development to production, then the EAT Academy Audio Drama course is one that you should absolutely take. And then we also have the short self-paced forms, the storytelling boot camps, all right, that we organize. So if you are interested in taking your audio drama storytelling to the next level, to fine-tuning and producing professional audio stories, then hurry now to the Debisibusybee media website, send a message or call the number on the screen, or email us at debisibusybeemedia@gmail.com, all on the screen. Kickstart your audio storytelling journey today. Again, let me reiterate that you can actually have a low budget production, audio drama production. So don't let your chest go up and say, hey, this money is a lot. Where will I get all this money? No. You can actually achieve a low budget production like you've heard me, talking about. So again, just a reminder, location recording in a makeshift room space devoid of noise will work perfectly well, maybe with volunteers, cast volunteers to join you in your production, or you pay them minimally as much as you can afford and as agreed by you and the team members. You can package your content in your room, on your CapCut, using your laptop or even using your phone. If it's a podcast, you work. The idea is to work with what you have until you get what you need, all right? Okay? And you keep upgrading. Don't let anything stop you from your audio drama production. And then, of course, you can collaborate with a recording studio or a radio station, all right? So don't let anything stop you from achieving your audio storytelling production goals. And this is where I'll be calling it a wrap. I am rooting for you. That audio drama podcast you have been meaning to start, this is the time to start it. You can actually achieve it, whether on a high budget or a low budget.